Deadly wildfires are raging in California, forcing thousands of evacuations and threatening homes. The Carr Fire in Redding, California, is the largest threat. It has burned over 100,000 acres and destroyed at least 1,000 structures. At least 6 people, including 2 firefighters, have died. Chris Martinez joins us now from Redding, California, with the latest. Chris, thanks for being with us. Are the firefighters there making any progress on getting this fire under control?
Well, Tanya, they are. Containment here today now up to 27%, so they've made quite some progress, particularly over the past 24 hours or so. As you mentioned, this fire has now burned more than 110,000 acres. That is bigger than the city of New Orleans, so this is a very large area they are having to tackle, but they say they are making some good progress. For the most part, the fire has moved away from the most populated areas here, so they are continuing to attack it from all sides. And they are hopeful that throughout the next 24 hours or so, that containment number is going to shoot up, as they are expecting some much better weather conditions here that should make it easier for them to reach some of the big hot spots here, and also to fly their aircraft in to make water drops and retardant drops. So at this point, they do expect that things are going to get better, Tanya. It's just a matter of how long it will take to get this fire fully contained.
Sure. So that's a little bit of good news. But Chris, what has made this a particularly difficult fire to contain?
Well, this is a very large area that we're talking about, and in some of the areas as well, we're talking about some very steep and rugged terrain that makes it very difficult to reach. Now, the biggest problem a few nights ago when this fire started and over the weekend, there was a lot of shifting winds that really made this fire move through very, very quickly. That was the biggest issue in terms of protecting the homes here, because the firefighters just simply could not stay ahead of the flames. So as that has slowed down and the weather has started to cooperate more with them, they've been able to build their containment around this fire the way they would typically do so. But it has come at a cost here, particularly with the loss of lives, as you mentioned, 6 people killed, and just a tremendous amount of destruction. At this point, the latest assessment here is that there are more than 800 homes that burned. That gives you an idea of how rapidly the fire was moving, that the firefighters could not get in place in time to protect all of those houses.
And speaking of that tragic loss of life, Chris, are people heeding evacuation warnings, and are any of these deaths in any way tied to people who perhaps decided to stay put?
Well, that is possible. Officials are telling us that they believe for the most part, people here did take these evacuation orders seriously. And keep in mind, we're talking about around 40,000 people that were asked to evacuate here. So it's a tremendous undertaking to get all of those people out of the area. In terms of the deaths, you have 2 firefighters that were killed battling this fire. You have 4 civilians who died in their homes. That includes a woman and her 2 young great-grandchildren. And the husband of that woman told CBS News yesterday that they did not get any sort of warning. There was not a phone call or a door knock. Now, the sheriff here in town, he says that he is investigating to figure out if that family got a warning, but they do feel confident in saying that by and large, everyone that they needed to move out got some sort of notification. That all said, they are telling people here that the death count could still go up, and that's because of a couple of things. First and foremost, there's so much damage here, they have not been able to assess it all yet. There are neighborhoods they still need to go in and sift through the rubble and hopefully not find any more victims. But also, there are more than a dozen people in this area that were reported missing and are still unaccounted for. So it's possible that we could see the death toll here rise. Certainly the hope, Tanya, is that that will not be the case.
Certainly, of course, but more than a dozen, that is worrying. Chris, what are the next steps in the containment and rescue efforts?
Well, firefighters are going to continue to attack this thing from all sides today, and the air attack is what they're telling me is going to be the most vital today, because they want to reach those areas that's very difficult to get to on foot. And we are expecting some clearer skies here a little bit at some point later on today, and that's going to help them fly in all those large aircrafts and helicopters and make all those really vital water drops. So they're going to continue to do that as much as they can today. We're talking about more than 3,000 firefighters on this fire. They are here or coming in from more than 16 states across the country, so they have a lot of resources. But keep in mind, these men and women are working 24 on, 24 off. They are exhausted, and this is a relentless fight. The hope is that at some point later on today, they're going to be able to expand those containment lines, and they do think that we're going to see another sharp rise in the containment number at some point, probably later today or at some point in the evening.
Those firefighters are such heroes. Let's hope the weather continues to cooperate with their efforts. Chris Martinez, thank you.